You're welcome back to News Today. And with me is Mr. Edward Kareweh to give us the business news. Mr. Kareweh.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Edward Kareweh, the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union. And welcome to the Farmers' Day edition of Business News on Joy News Today. To our first story now, the Ghana Investment Promotion Council, or Center, GIPC, says it is working to direct more capital to the agri sector. This is part of the Center's strategy to help deal with the lack of adequate funding for the sector. Chief Executive of GIPC, Yofi Grant, has been giving us details on this initiative.
Because anytime we go out, we speak a lot about agriculture. I mean, if you go to the Northern Demand Authority, where there's probably about 6 million hectares of arable land lying fallow, it doesn't make sense that we are importing that much food. It's painful, actually. So I think that, and right now, a lot of countries are looking at food security. And so it creates an opportunity for us to use their money to build a situation where Ghana becomes maybe a grain basket for West Africa and a food basket for West Africa. And so it's an opportunity that we actually go out to market. I mean, I'm so convinced about agriculture because a country that cannot first feed itself can hardly do anything else.
Yeah, Yofi Grant has talked about government attempt to give more capital to agriculture. How is that going to be different from what we have seen so far?
Well, agriculture is the mainstay of Ghana's economy. We are the second largest producer of cocoa. There are several other initiatives that government is putting in place to make sure that our farmers are cushioned in order for them to derive maximum output. And that is why government has initiated what we call the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative, and that has resulted in today the news headlines that we've seen, that even plantain is being exported out to neighboring countries. Government will continue to commit whatever resources that we need to make sure that our agricultural sector thrives.
Thank you. Our next story is government in the 1919 budget revealed it will implement an agricultural lending and insurance scheme with some 400 million Ghana cedis and $40 million from the Agri Development Bank. This scheme is meant to de-risk lending and insurance in the agricultural sector. Interim Regional Head, West Africa of Alliance Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, Foster Boateng, has been telling Joy News, or Joy Business, more about the program.
The whole idea is to put in a de-risking mechanism, and then you put in an incentive and enablers for banks to feel attractive and go there. Government is not putting money for people to go and take loans, no. The banks will use their own balance sheets to give out loans. But what government is trying to do is, I have this facility here. In case of default, it's like a guarantee. Okay. Okay. I'm also putting an insurance mechanism so that in case of default, we can fall back on insurance. At the same time, we can also put an insurance system to support the value chain actors so that you can de-risk them. Then the bank will feel comfortable and put in money. So that's the background to it.
Yeah, it is African Development Bank. It is not Agri Development Bank. You know, the point here is that there's 400 million Ghana cedis to be used as an insurance scheme towards to de-risk lending to farmers. You know, wouldn't it have been better that this 400 million Ghana cedis is rather given to the banks to be able to just lend direct to the farmers? Where do we expect the banks to have money to lend to their farmers? And then in the event that the farmers do not pay back the loans. Then the 400 million will now be used to redeem that repayment. Is it not better to just give the money to the banks to give to the farmers direct?
The approach of government is multifaceted.
Okay.
And that is why you have a section of funding going to this initiative. There are other initiatives that are being put in place to make sure that farmers get access to credit. And there are several other initiatives also to provide inputs, to provide seedlings, to provide extension services. So this is just one of the interventions that government is putting in for agriculture.
Yeah, thank you. In a related development, CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison, described the scheme as a step in the right direction, but cautioned rural farmers must be educated and roped into it.
In Nigeria have to look at it again after implementing it. There were some challenges. They have to go and then reinvent some of the things so that it suits the current need. Our worry is its implementation. Okay. Speaking to some board members who have given me an in-depth understanding with the GESL and its implementation. If we can get rural folks, and I know now some of the education is going on, but we need to intensify it. That's the worry. If we can get the rural folks who are actually in need of this facility to understand what this facility ought to be doing for them.
That is all for business this afternoon with me, Edward Kareweh, General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAWU. Thanks so much for having me, and happy Farmers Day for our hardworking farmers in the country. Enjoy your holiday. Stay on with Joy News.